The classroom was filled with laughter, but not the kind that warms hearts. It was the cruel, sharp laughter of children mocking someone who didn't fit in. At the center of it stood Armand, a thin boy with patched clothes and worn-out shoes, clutching a tattered notebook to his chest. "Why don't you just sit down, poor boy?" one of the kids sneered. "You'll never be good at anything." Armand lowered his eyes, swallowing the sting of humiliation. He wanted to fight back, to prove that he wasn't worthless. But what could he say? He had no fancy shoes, no gadgets, no expensive books. His father had passed away years ago, and his mother worked day and night as a cleaner to put food on their table. Poverty was stamped on every corner of his life, and the world seemed determined to remind him of it. But what nobody knew, what Armand kept hidden deep inside, was his gift, his voice. Late at night, when the world was quiet, he would sit by the small window of his crumbling home and sing softly. His mother, exhausted from work, would sometimes pause at the doorway, tears shining in her eyes as she listened. "You have something special, Armand," she whispered. "One day the world will hear you." Those words became his secret fuel, the only flame that kept him going. At school, however, he was invisible. Teachers overlooked him, classmates dismissed him, and opportunities slipped away before he could even reach for them. Then one morning a notice was pinned on the board. "Annual talent show. Sign up now." The whole school buzzed with excitement. Kids planned dances, skits, and comedy acts. Armand's heart raced as he read the paper. This was his chance to let his voice be heard. But when he timidly told his classmates he wanted to sing, they burst out laughing. "You sing," one of them mocked. "Don't embarrass yourself. People like you don't belong on stage." Those words cut deep, but Armand refused to let them bury his dream. With trembling hands, he signed his name on the list. That night, he told his mother, who hugged him tightly. "Don't let their words silence you," she said. "Sing, Armand. Sing like it's the last thing you'll ever do." The days leading up to the show were brutal. Whispers followed him down the hallways. He had no fancy clothes to wear, no backing track, not even proper shoes. Some kids placed bets that he'd freeze on stage. Still, Armand practiced every evening, pouring his heart into each note until his voice carried both the pain of his struggles and the hope of something greater. Finally, the night of the talent show arrived. The auditorium was packed. Students, teachers, and even parents filled the seats. Bright lights glared on stage, and every performer before him received cheers and applause. Then it was his turn. Armand walked out slowly, his patched shirt clinging to his thin frame. A murmur spread through the crowd. Some laughed openly. Others rolled their eyes. He could hear whispers. "This is going to be awful." For a moment, fear gripped him. His throat felt dry and his hands trembled. He looked into the audience, searching for something, anything that could steady him. And then he saw her, his mother, standing at the back, her tired face glowing with pride, mouthing the words, "You can do it." Armand closed his eyes. The room went silent, and he began to sing. His voice started soft, almost fragile, but within seconds it soared, filling the entire hall. Every note carried raw emotion, his hunger, his loneliness, his dreams. It wasn't just singing, it was a story. His story wrapped in melody. The laughter died. The whispers stopped. One by one, jaws dropped, eyes widened, and tears welled. When the final note rang out, silence hung in the air, heavy and stunned. Deafening, thunderous applause that shook the walls. The same kids who once mocked him were now on their feet, cheering. Teachers wiped their eyes, and even the principal stood clapping. Armand's heart pounded, not from fear, but from the realization that for the first time he was seen. That night changed everything. Armand won the talent show, but more importantly, he won respect. People who once looked down on him now admired him. He was invited to sing at community events, and one evening, a local music teacher approached him backstage. "You have a rare gift, son," the man said. "With training, you could go far." And so Armand's journey began. It wasn't easy. He still faced hardship, and the road to success was long, but he walked it with a new strength. Because he had proven that poverty did not define him. His voice did. Years later, Armand stood on a grand stage, thousands of fans chanting his name. But he never forgot that boy in patched clothes, who once sang to a darkened room. He sang not just for fame, but for every kid who had ever been told they weren't enough. And his message was simple. Never let anyone tell you that you can't. Believe in yourself even when nobody else does. Because one day your voice will prove them all wrong.